Going
Hey,
on?
bro. Not much, man. Sorry. I was hurrying. I was
All
shoveling.
right, bro. You gotta eat. You gotta eat. You know.
Right. I just got stopped and I made something real quick in the microwave. So,
Oh, I totally understand that. I got a lot more time to eat than you, so I get it.
right.
So
I got this load's got to deliver in Van Wert, Ohio at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And I had to make sure I got close enough with enough time to shut down and take my break and get there. I'm in southeast Missouri right now, but hell, I drove all the way almost from Austin, Texas to here.
right, right. A lot of so. All right, well, let's get right down to it then. What do you think of the Jalen Ramsey trade to the Rams? Well, does it make them a contender again?
Um, it definitely shores up a problem for them. I think their secondary has been an issue. Marcus Peters went back to being his old self, where he was trash. Um, couldn't cover anybody with a blanket, so they had to make a move there. Yeah, I mean, they were contenders anyway, just because of their offense. They're starting to get people healthy. It sounds like Gurley might go, so um,
Right,
I thought they were a contender anyway, but it definitely shores up their defense.
right on. Um, yeah, I think it makes them. I think it makes them a contender temporarily because this is going to cause a lot of problems money wise. They already had 6 players that combined for over $100 million. Like I don't, like I'm just struggling to see
Well,
where.
I don't think they're player. I think there are certain players that are not going to be there next year. They're just going to. I mean, they can't. They've already paid Donald. They paid Goff. Those are probably the two that are remaining. Even though Goff, I don't think is worth what they paid him. But I
No,
mean, that's kind of a bullet they're going to have to bite now.
the
But
term system quarterback really applies to Jared Goff.
yeah, I don't think Brandon Cooks is earning his money. Um, Cooper Kupp is by far the best receiver on that team, and he's
Oh,
a slot receiver.
oh yeah, easily.
So
So, oh yeah, temporarily, I think it does. I'd love to see what they're gonna do in the future. I know that they don't have another first round draft pick now for the next 2 years, and this will be 5 years in a row without a first round draft pick by the time they get done. At some point in time, that becomes an issue. So we're
yeah, it's going to catch up to him for sure.
yeah, we're gonna have to see how McVay handles it. It'll be interesting. Um, is there a team in the NFC that's really separating itself from the rest of the conference? If so, who?
Not really. Everybody who we thought, a couple weeks ago looked lights out kind of fell flat on their face the last couple of weeks. I mean, Dallas looked like before the New Orleans game, they looked like world beaters, but then they hadn't played anybody. And New Orleans came in and slapped them back to reality, and then they turned around and got bit by the Jets. So, yeah, I don't think really anybody. I guess you could kind of say Green Bay, maybe. I mean, only for the reason. I mean, granted, they shouldn't. And I know there are certain individuals on here that are not going to want to hear this, but they should not have won that game. They had every right to lose that game. But for certain obvious reasons, they ended up winning it.
Yes.
And it's not all, I'm not saying all officials, because Detroit shot themselves in the foot too.
Yeah. We'll get to that later for sure. So,
Okay. But I'm just saying it wasn't, people are going to, I know Johansson's in here and he's going to start jumping on me about blaming the officials. And I'm not just blaming the officials. It was a multifaceted reason, but Green Bay should not have won that game is what I'm saying. So, but I mean, really, it's kind of muddled right now. Maybe Seattle.
okay. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with Seattle. Seattle's definitely a very good team. Russell Wilson's the best quarterback in the NFC. I don't want to hear any arguments against that. That is a fact. He's the best quarterback in the NFC.
Yep.
And as long as you have him, you are a contender.
And he does the most with the few attempts that he gets. I mean, he's the most efficient quarterback by far.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I see what you're saying,
yeah.
I there are two teams I think that are far and beyond better than every other team in the NFC. One is San Francisco.
Yeah, I forgot about
That
them.
defense, that's the best defense in the league. Sorry, Chicago. San Francisco is the best defense in the league, and they've shown no weaknesses at all through 6 games now. Wait, 6? Yeah, they've played 6, right?
No, 5.
5.
They had a bye week.
5 games. I was trying to remember if they had their bye week or not. I was drawing a blank for a second. Yeah, so they're 5-0. So through 5 weeks, I've not seen a single weakness on the San Francisco D. Going into the season, I thought their secondary would be a problem. They've completely proved me wrong. So Jimmy G's playing good enough. Like, he's not playing great by any means, but good enough to let that defense carry them to obviously 5-0. So the other team that I have to say is are you getting static?
No.
Oh, because I'm getting static. Okay, so it's just me then. Okay, so the New Orleans Saints, they have played really, really good football with Teddy Bridgewater, so I can't imagine how they're going to be when Drew Brees comes back. Like, that defense is really good, and Teddy Bridgewater's been good enough to carry them. So right now they don't necessarily look like a way better team, but they're just playing with a backup quarterback. So when Brees comes back, that offense is going to be lights out again.
Well, they might be playing with a backup running back too.
How long is Kamara supposed to be out?
They're calling it. They didn't say it was a high ankle sprain, but they called it a high ankle issue. Same thing. High ankle sprains are bad. They're not good, especially for the run.
I know that, but I think Drew Brees makes enough of a difference. I mean, in my opinion, he's definitely a top 4 quarterback of all time. So, I mean, just bringing him back's got to make them much better, with or without Kamara. I mean, Kamara would just be another piece, but even without him, I mean, look how well Michael Thomas has done. Even with Bridgewater, I mean, those numbers are just going to skyrocket when Brees gets back.
Right.
So, and
I'm not saying.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that Kamara is not. If Kamara misses any length of time, that's going to hurt.
No, it hurts. Yeah. But all right, well, there's my opinion on that. The next question is, which 3-3 team do you think is most likely and least likely to make the playoffs?
Oh, wow. I'm trying to think. See, I focus so much on my fantasy team, I don't really look at the records of the teams. I just look at who I got on my team. Well, man, Dallas is really looking really, really bad right now. The defense can't seem to stop anybody, and the offense. I mean, Cooper's supposed to play this week, but he's been playing on a bad wheel. Gallup's been playing on a bad wheel. They're not opening any holes for Zeke. Dak looks like just utter dumpster fire quality quarterback. I'm hearing rumors. I go through Texas every week. Go right through Dallas twice a week. And so I listen to Sports Talk Radio out of Dallas there. And from everything I'm hearing, Jason Garrett, his job is in peril. He does not get this ship righted. I mean, and from what it sounded like to me, the next couple weeks, he's gone.
I read a report that he could be gone by the bye week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The next couple weeks, their bye week is week 8.
And it's only a few years overdue.
Right. But, Jerry's loyal to him. Jason Garrett's been a lifelong Cowboy. He was a quarterback for him back in the day. And so, that's the thing with Jerry Jones. He has loyalties. And if you're loyal to him, he will be loyal to you to a fault.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, at some point in time, loyalty's got to go out the window. He's capped at
Yep.
8-8. That's what he's been known for. And outside of
Yep.
a year here or there, that's what he does. 8-8. He's like one game better than Jeff Fisher.
Yep.
Like, I mean, that's not a good thing. So
I'm trying to think of some other 3-3 teams.
you want me to go first?
Yeah, if you would, please.
The 3-3 team most likely to make it is Philadelphia. And I'm not saying that they're the most talented 3-3 team, because the secondary is obviously the worst in the league. But they have the easiest road to a playoff. Like, they're playing in one of the weakest divisions. And you look at it now, it didn't look like it. It looked like them and Dallas are going to be in a dogfight, like with really good records, but that's not how it's shaping up to be. Dallas doesn't look good. The Giants looked like Daniel Jones had a spark in him, but then all of a sudden he kind of flatlined. And everybody knows about Washington, so I mean their road to the playoffs could be 9-7.
Well, I think Giants are going to get better with Saquon coming back.
Oh.
Teams didn't, they didn't fear what was coming out of the backfield with Hillman or whatever his name was. So, but Saquon has been full practice all week, so you got to almost figure he's playing.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're not going to be good, but they're already 2-4.
I
They would
think
have
they
to
can
lose.
make it.
They would only have to lose 3 more games to make it 9-7. So that's what I'm saying is like their record's not going to have to be that good. So they have the best chance where the Rams, who I think have the best 3-3 team, have the 49ers and the Seahawks in front of them. Like,
Right.
I mean, so their odds of making the playoffs go slim, especially with a really competitive NFC North. Because you really think the 2 teams out of the West are going to make it? No. Like, so, I mean, they're going to need one of those 2 teams to falter to make it. So I think that that they are the least likely, even though I think their team is really good. I think just based on what is in their division, they're least likely to make the playoffs. Where Dallas and Philly I think Philly's a better team. That's why I gave them the best odds. But I mean, they're both 3-3, so it could go either way there. But the Rams got the most difficult road.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, in the NFC, if you better win your division, because probably the North is going to probably send 3 teams. The division winner and the 2 wild card spots are going to be filled by the North.
All right. I was thinking that. I've thought that for a long time, but with the way that Seattle's playing, unless the 49ers collapse, it could be 1-1 from each of those divisions because 49ers stand a better chance of collapsing than Seattle.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm just going to say it's going to be them if anybody does in the West. And they're going to really need to falter, and they play Washington this week, so you can already count them at 6-0.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that North can't, but it would be really hard for them because of the way Seattle and San Francisco are playing. The Rams, pretty much, in my opinion, have almost no shot at 3-3 over there.
Yeah, it's just kind of a shame for the teams that are in the North because they all got good at once.
I think all 4 of those teams are worthy of a playoff spot.
Yeah. And you know what? And I didn't believe in you, and I'm going to give you credit for that because I honestly didn't believe that all 4 were. I didn't think Green Bay was, and I didn't think Detroit was. And, well, Green Bay is leading the division, and Detroit should have been leading the division. So
that one game, that game Monday, it was the difference between first and last place in the division. And that is I can't wait till we get into that earlier because I got a lot of shit to say about that. But all right, we'll move on now. What is one area of concern for both of the undefeated teams?
Well, for the obvious is, injuries. The 49ers got to really, and they are just a couple key players away. They're not a real deep team. They're a good team, but, especially on the defense, their depth is real shallow. And, if they lose, say, a Bosa and help me with the corner.
Sherman?
Yes. If they lose Bosa and Sherman's old, so it's easier for him to get hurt.
But still playing really well.
Yeah, I actually read a stat where he is leading the NFL in completions allowed at 50%. He's only allowing 50% completion rate.
Damn. Yeah, I did not realize that. That's a crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's in there with some pretty big dogs too. But yeah, injuries for San Francisco and for New England. I mean, really, the only thing that really hurt them is somehow their whole scheme or their system collapses. And I mean, if Brady goes down, obviously that's going to be curtains probably. But man, I mean, they're really both of them don't. As far as their starters go, they don't really have a chink in the armor right now that anybody is exposed.
My areas of weaknesses are a little different than yours. Injuries, definitely, I agree with you on that. That should be every team's number one concern. Because seriously, San Francisco is a George Kittle injury away from not being able to put any points on the board. So, I mean, regardless if it was playing to the par of last year, he draws a lot of attention from the defense, and if he goes down, he's done. But the biggest area of concern for these guys, if you throw injuries out the window and look at actual statistics, both come from the same position. And I'm glad Gangles ain't watching right now because he tried to rip my head off for saying this, but New England's biggest area of concern is Tom Brady's decline. Because if that defense has an off day, can Brady still carry the team? Like, that's a big question. So, I'm getting static again. Are you getting it, or is it just me?
Oh, must you? I just rolled my window down, get a little air in here. Maybe that's.
Oh, that might have been the wind that I just heard like a little. Whoosh, whoosh. So.
That better?
Yeah, that's way better.
All right.
So what I was saying was, if the defense doesn't hold up for a game, because I don't know how good this defense really is, they haven't played any dynamic offenses yet.
Well, I mean, Stephon Gilmore is the number 2 rated corner in the league. Stephon Gilmore has been playing lights out. He's been doing what they signed him to do 2 years ago.
But he hasn't played anybody. They get to a stretch of schedule where they got to play teams like the Eagles, the Texans, the Chiefs. Then I'll go back to talking about doing this.
He's playing NFL quality receivers.
I get that, but there's still differences in talent level between these NFL receivers.
Well, and he's only a rookie, but I mean, Terry McLaurin has ripped up any other corner he's faced to this point. And half of them, he did it while he was injured. So, I mean, Terry McLaurin, yes, he's a rookie, but Terry McLaurin might be the next OBJ.
Oh, that's
kid is good.
First, guys.
The kid is real good. It pains me to say that because he's an Ohio State product, but I gotta give credit where credit's due too.
Ohio State guys are not good.
No, I beg to differ with you.
Just keep that in your head, okay? Zeke too overrated. Offensive line. Dak makes Zeke. Okay,
Wrong.
I'm trolling.
I know you are. When you said that, because I know how you feel about Dak, so I knew you were full of shit on that.
But no, I think that Tom Brady's shown some decline, and I do believe the defense is for real. But I just want to see him against some stuff or some like real competition. But say the defense has an off day, can Brady carry them anymore? Because I know Gango said he was 31 of 41. Sam Bradford set the record for completion percentage in a season. I don't want to hear about the completion percentage. I don't give a crap about it. I watched that Giants game, and everybody was talking about how Brady doesn't look like Brady anymore. It wasn't just me. I messaged you during the game and even said that. I was like, Brady looks washed up. And washed up Brady is still good. Like, washed up Brady is better than a lot of people at 100%. So when I say he's washed up, people got to realize that I'm talking washed up by Tom Brady standards, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have the deep ball no more.
No.
He doesn't have the arm to do the deep ball. He's a dink and dunk game manager at this point.
Yes, and
that's why Josh Gordon hasn't been doing anything.
Yeah, because Josh Gordon thrives off the deep ball.
Yep.
Right, which is why I don't know how well Antonio Brown really would have worked out there in the long run. He had a good game against Miami. I can have a good game against Miami.
Right.
So, so maybe that wouldn't have been as great as everybody said it was going to be. So that's my area of concern for that. And the 49ers is also the quarterback. It's Jimmy Garoppolo. Can he live up to the potential that he's had? Because thus far, I know he's winning games, and I know some people love to live off that statistic, but it's a team sport, and Jimmy G has been playing average football.
Yeah, I don't think it's not Jimmy G. It's the running game of that offense. It makes that offense go. It opens up the passing game for him to hit Kittle on, nice easy 10 route or, 10-yard seam route, and then Kittle does the rest with it because Kittle's athletic as all get out. I mean, yes, Jimmy G can't carry that team, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you. People give me flack for it all the time, but he's getting a chance to prove it, and he's going to have to step up at some point because there's going to be games where it happens to everybody where the defense doesn't show up. So, and then we're really going to have to see where he's made of because he's going to have to put up 30 points to win. And
I agree.
Everybody, asked Chicago last week against the Raiders. Happens to happen. So, it's bound to happen. All right. Here's the question I was waiting for now. Why do the officials hate the Detroit Lions? So I'm going to rephrase this question a little bit so it doesn't seem so like butthurt-ish. And why are the officials so bad? I kind of want to get into that Monday night game for a minute, and those calls at the end of that game were so atrocious. Like, I've never seen calls outside of the New Orleans Rams game at the end of the game. I've never seen calls that were so blatantly obvious just be either missed or called fouls in my life except crucial times. And all around the NFL, this has been happening, and now it's finally really cost the team that deserve to win. And for all the people who want to say that, yeah, they should have scored more touchdowns, this is how the NFL works. I want to kind of just take that and throw that out the window because Lions fans know they should have scored more touchdowns. I've not talked to a single Lions fan that was like, oh, no, the field goals were good enough. Okay, I've not talked to a single person that said that. But in the NFL, you're not always going to get on those opportunities every single time. There are going to be games where the other defense is playing really good red zone defense and your offense can't seem to score, and you have to settle for those field goals. That happens in the NFL. That's how the NFL works. You should not have to play a perfect game in this league to win. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there are teams that win sloppy games all the time, and you should be able to win sloppy games. Okay? Like, field goal kicking games. You should, if your defense still came to play like the Lions defense did, you should be able to win those games. Just because your offense faltered in the red zone doesn't mean you weren't the better team that night. We get they should have scored more touchdowns, but that doesn't happen every time. And for the officials to rip away a win like that is heartbreaking to fans. And the NFL's got to figure out a way to deal with it. And I don't know if you have any ideas that would possibly help this officiating situation. I know I got one, but if you have one, I would like you to share on a way that this could possibly be fixed in the future for any team.
Well, let me. There was a stat I stumbled across this week. You know that the Lions are third worst in the NFL in red zone conversion rate. I mean, it's not just that game. It's been all year. Their offense gets inside the end of the 20 and they sputter. They settle for field goals. It's just not, as it wasn't just the Green Bay game. But that being said, it's always been a problem, to be honest with you, even before replay and all that. I mean, I remember as a kid growing up and you sit there and just get this blatantly obvious call, but there was no way to overturn it or, reverse it because there was no replay. You just had to live with it. And Unfortunately, that's going to be the case for the time being. But I mean, as far as finding a way to take the human element out of it is essentially what we're being asked here. And I don't know how you can do that, to be honest, to be truthful. I mean, I guess maybe find the crew. I don't know. I mean, really, it is, and that's exactly what it is. It's a human element. That stuff happens so fast, so bang bang. And I understand that some of it. I saw a post on Twitter from Mike Clay at ESPN. He's a fantasy football analyst, and he said, "Did you see the same?"
No, I did not see it, but I definitely know who he is.
He said, "Why not have officials in New York watching these games?" And like with the hands to the face that didn't happen 2 times. In a case like that, he can call down to he can be wired mic'd right straight to the referee and say, "Hey, that wasn't a penalty. He was nowhere near his face mask."
And yeah, to add to that, I like that idea. Okay, but I want to make something that I feel like that's going to happen in the final 5 minutes of a game. You know what I mean? Like when it's crucial time and they need to get the calls right, because you don't want like everybody. And there's what the point of even had officials like at that point they would just be guys that are like listening to the New York people. You know, so like when it comes down to the end of that, in crucial times like that, at the end of games, then I feel like that's when those people should take over and kind of help them, guide them, so this type of stuff doesn't happen. And it's not just the Lions game to me. I was talking to Johansson about the Vikings-Eagles game, man. And as a Vikings fan, we were getting every call, and they weren't getting anything. And some of this stuff was just blatantly obvious. Like Stevie Wonder could see some of this stuff, and they wouldn't throw a flag. And it was just like, what are you doing? There was one where like Trey Waynes almost pulled Nelson Aguilar to the ground by his jersey, and there was no flag on a deep pass from Wentz. And I was just like, wow. Like, you know, it helps my team, but at the same time, it's like, come on, man. Like, let's play a fair game and see who the better team is.
Yeah, it kind of sucks winning like that too.
It does, because first of all, it takes away from what you've done. You know, like with Brent, like and this is not shading Brent in any way because I understand why. But all I heard about after that game was how the officials were screwing over the Eagles and all that stuff, and he's right, and I'm not mad at him or faulting him anyway. He's absolutely correct, and it sucks that it takes away from a win because we played really well without the officials' help. But what people remember, a lot of people remember, especially Eagles fans, are the blatant penalties that don't get called. And that Detroit-Green Bay game is forever going to be overshadowed, which was a great game, by the way, that people should remember for being a great game, is that they missed those calls, and not just the 2 hands to the face calls, but they missed the PI on Marvin Jones on the drive before. That was also blatantly obvious.
Well, wasn't there a PI called on on the Lions corner when the Allison play where Allison got concussed? But I saw the replay. There wasn't PI because he got the ball before he got to Allison. He just went through Allison. You know, it looked like in live motion that he went through Allison to get the ball, when in actuality, in slow motion, his hands hit the ball first. Then Allison ran into him.
I think he didn't get called for pass interference, and he got called for unnecessary roughness.
Oh, that's right. Yep, you're right.
Helmet to helmet, it's a really shitty rule, but they enforced it correctly based on how the rule is. I mean, you just can't hit helmet to helmet, and it sucks for defenders, and I feel like I don't know a way because I can't think of any, but they got to find – that's another rule that they got to find out because you can't play defense sometimes like this. You know what I mean? But I know that call because based on how the rule is written, the call was correct. And just to clear the air for any Lions fans that are out there, by the way, that picture where Green Bay's got 13 guys on the field and all these posts that are like, oh, they didn't call for that. Green Bay called a timeout on that play. That was not a penalty.
They didn't even run the play.
Yeah, play never ran. So stop listening to every article that's out there and stop like the refs were bad enough. You don't have to put more stuff on top of it to make it seem like it was worse. Call what was there. You watched the game, and if you didn't watch the game, you shouldn't be talking about the officiating anyways. So just to clear the air there, that was not a penalty because I've seen that from so many people. So I just want to clear that up right away. But I know it'll be interesting to see what they do in the offseason because they're going to come back to this.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, it's going to be rules committee are going to be busy on this one.
Yeah, because of course the NFL did exactly what I said they were going to do the day after the game. I know Jordan said they were going to try to hide it, but it was too big for them to hide. So what they did was, we were wrong, we're sorry.
Yep.
Sorry doesn't put W back in the record books. Something's got to be done. Okay, and I'm not one of those dumb Lions guys that were commenting on my status the other day that were like, "Oh, change the outcome of the game." Like, no, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
First of all, if you ever, technically you can, but if you ever did that, the hell!
It's a Pandora's box.
Right, the hell that would come after that.
Yep, because then you got all the New Orleans fans saying, "Oh, what about us in our playoff run?" Yeah. They'll be wanting them to play the Super Bowl all over again. That's just and I'm commented this in our chat. I'm not sure if it was our chat or if it was other chat, but I said this to Jordan. I said, if they do that, that's a Pandora's box. They will never ever get closed again. Once you open that box, that particular box, it's forever open.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, games will you might as well not even play games anymore because it'll be flipping the coin because they'll be changing results left and right of every game. And then they'll switch over to other sports too because then they'll be like, well, why can't we switch results when we're screwed? And then, then sports will die.
You'll sit there and be watching your favorite team and like, oh, great, we won today. And then a couple hours later, go to football or watch, go do something and come back and watch the other game, and all of a sudden the score changes. Like, well, what? How?
People think NFL's rigged now.
Yeah.
If they ever did that, holy shit.
Oh, they could do so much with that.
Yeah. They should never utilize that rule. I don't care how bad a call is, never do that. So, all right. Next question is from your super fan.
Hi, Lynn.
Do you feel like the Pats do well every year because of their easy schedule, or is it truly talent?
No, they don't always have an easy schedule. It's their scheme. It's what it is. It's not their talent. It's Belichick has just got this magic wand. And, he probably breaks the rules here and there. It gives himself a little bit of an advantage. See Spygate. But
Deflategate.
Yeah, that was more Brady than it was.
I don't feel Belichick didn't know about that.
Oh, I'm sure he did, but I think that was more Brady's call than was Belichick's call.
Right.
But no, I honestly do think it's the system. Belichick's always been a good coach. He just didn't have the right personnel around him, player and staff wise, when he was in Cleveland and other stops. It's not their schedule because, like I said, their schedule, they've played some tough games. Look at the Jets when Buddy or not Buddy Ryan. Oh, man.
Rex Ryan.
Wow, I'm going way back. Rex Ryan. When Rex Ryan was there, the Jets had some really good teams, especially their defenses. You had Revis Island on one side. You had Cromartie in his prime on the other side. You couldn't pass on that team unless you were really, really, really good at what you do in the offense.
Or you just moss them like Moss did to Revis.
Exactly. You're right. There were very few receivers that could beat Revis when Revis was in the prime. But what I'm saying is it's more of the system because they have played some quality teams. And they've beaten quality teams. They beat Kansas City last year. Kansas City was a gauntlet of a team, especially on offense. That offense is just rolling everybody. Yeah. And New England figured out a way. And that's the thing with Belichick. He figures out a way to take away your best player. And then you got to try and, on the fly, figure out, okay, we can't use Tyreek Hill. So how are we gonna, who are we gonna implement to be our next playmaker? But and that's a talent he's always had.
Yep.
Even when he was a defensive coordinator for way back in the day when he was DC in Cleveland. So yeah, it's their system and their talent more than anything.
Right. I'm gonna say, okay. So they've never really had a really hard schedule, okay, because their division's so weak. So they has been, I know the Jets had their moment for a minute, but the Jets good streak was only 2 years. Okay, so they have had a pretty weak division, but that's not their fault. Okay, and that's also a product of them being so good. So, but there's, and I've said this on this podcast before, there is a formula to an NFL schedule. Okay, like they don't just give New England easy games. Okay, like the team that finishes first in the division play all the first place teams next year. Like that's how that works. And then you'll play whatever every 3 years you play one of the AFC divisions, whichever one you line up with. Then you play all 4 of those teams. And every 4 years you play an NFC division, and whichever division you line up, then you play all 4 of those teams, and it's like a rotating thing. Like so,
right.
I can tell you who New England will play after Week 17 this year. I don't know what weeks they'll play them, but I can tell you who they will play after Week 17. Like, I don't need them to tell me. I know who their opponents are. So, there's no – they don't just give New England an easy schedule. That's I don't know why people always – it's crazy that people don't understand this because people say that all the time, right? Now, the way that New England's schedule was lined up this year, they got all the easy teams in the first half of the schedule so that by the time they play their first difficult game, they're already going to be like 8-0.
Yeah.
Which sucks, but I guess that's the way that lines up. They should have did a better job at that because the only team that was supposed to be good that they've played was Pittsburgh, and they didn't even make the playoffs last year, and chances are they were going to get worse because they lost Brown, so they weren't even that good. And the Jets were supposed to finally break out. So other than that, though, all these other teams, I mean, you knew Miami was going to suck. Everybody knew they were going to suck. Buffalo was supposed to be good.
But they are.
They are good, but they weren't supposed to be. So when they're making the schedule here, like that's a bad team in their mind.
Yeah.
Right? So Washington was going to suck. Everyone knows that. I don't know who else they play.
The Giants.
Giants were going to suck.
Jets.
Yeah, the Jets were the only team that was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Darnold is back because they look like a whole new team. And Mosley, who was supposed to play last week, is for sure playing this week. And that's going to make him even better. And I upset watching that game. So watch out. I'm not picking the Jets. I picked the Patriots. But upset watch in that game, I will not be shocked. That's a good Jets team. Forget the record. They've been missing everybody. Sam Darnold's been kissing 6th graders. And he's missing time, so.
Did you end up watching that Gridiron Heights?
Oh, I forgot.
Oh, dude, you gotta check that out. It's so funny. He's got a big old lipstick mark right on the side of his cheek. It's freaking hilarious. And I had to watch it twice before I finally caught it.
Okay. What team with a losing record do you think will surprise people come playoff time?
The Giants, because they somehow found a defense a little bit. I'm not saying they're world beaters. I'm just saying they're a whole lot better than they were after the first 3 weeks. But they got Barkley back. They're getting Shepard back. Everybody's coming back healthy. I believe Ingram's going to play this week. So, and Daniel Jones, everybody said, well, yeah, he had. I believe he had Barkley his first game. He had
quarter.
Oh, was it? Okay, well, that was the game Barkley went out on. Okay, I wasn't for sure. But even Wayne Gallman's a decent backup. And
he got hurt, right?
Right. He got hurt the next week, wasn't it? Or the end of that game. But, yeah, I think the Giants. And are we doing one from each?
Oh, we can. If you want to do that, that's fine.
The Giants, and for the reasons I said, obviously, and I'm not sleeping on my Browns yet. I just can't do it. They got too much talent, and I'm hearing some rumors floating around. I'm not ready to throw out there yet because people tell me I'm out of my mind, but I've been seeing too much. Where there's smoke, there's fire. You know what I'm saying? And I've been seeing too many times where this player's name has been linked to the Browns. So something's going to happen here soon, I think. They're just trying to nail out the final details, and it's kind of looking like a two-player for one type of deal where they're going to send Denzel Ward, who's been injury-prone since he came to the Browns, really. And shoot. Oh, man, I can't think of who. Oh, Kareem Hunt. Where they're going to package those two up to get him even up.
To get who?
Trent Williams.
I missed it. Sorry, a coworker texted me, and I need to make sure I work.
Oh, Trent Williams.
Wait, Kareem Hunt might go to Washington?
Yep.
Oh, no. Adrian Peterson is lighting it up now, okay? New coach.
Come on, dude.
Adrian Peterson's ran for 118 yards. They finally gave him the ball.
Did you mail his Walker to him?
Adrian Peterson is the best running back in football. Now he's getting carries. Okay, so mark that down. AP's back. Okay, Kareem Hunt.
Really? How many yards is he going to get against San Francisco this week?
110.
Because I'm benching him in all formats.
110.
You're out of your mind.
110. Adrian Peterson.
You're out of your mind.
No, he's going to be the first guy to tear up San Francisco's defense. AP's a machine. He's not like any other running back. How many times do you prove people wrong? How many times?
All the other running backs are in the end zone waiting for him to get there.
Whatever, man. He looked good last week. I told you last week.
Who did they play last week?
Listen, I told you.
Who did they play last week?
That they have to get him more than 10 carries because he doesn't start getting going until carry 10. It was the first game that he got a bulk of carries, and look what he did.
Who did they play last week?
Why does that matter?
Because it's going to prove my point. Who did they play? I know who they played.
They played a young and improving Miami team.
Improving? Since when?
They only lost by one last week. That's improving.
They benched Rosen again last week. Dude, anybody.
He still got stuff in the tank, man.
Not against San Francisco's defense. He's not running on that D. I'm sorry. That line is not going to be able to open up sufficient enough holes for him to get through. Dude, he's lost a step and a half.
No, he is not.
Yes, he has. He was great in his day.
35-year-old AP is just as good as 24-year-old AP.
Had Darius Geis not hurt himself again, AP probably wouldn't even be on the team anymore.
Jay Gruden hated Adrian Peterson, and that's a fact, and he wasn't afraid to tell you about it. So, I mean, there's a reason why this is the first time you got a bulk of carries. So we're going to agree to disagree on that. And, yeah. The losing team, the team with the losing record that I think you shouldn't sleep on, I got the same one I had the same one in the AFC. But I'm going to try to switch it up, and I'm going to go the Jets. The Jets. I mean, the Jets are not going to win that division, but they can get a wild card. They're good. They're a good team. Okay. Darnold was always a question mark to me. He was really lights out last week. I think was he player of the week, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That might have been his breakout game, and now he might be ready to be the quarterback that he's always. And this was the game that we said they were going to be conservative with him. Now they're going to start taking the chains off. So.
Right. Well, and they didn't have a quarterback that could use what talents they had there. Robbie Anderson is a very talented receiver, regardless of what anybody says. The guy's got wheels. He can go up and get the ball. He's kind of a tall version of Tyreek Hill.
I just traded for him. Did you see that?
Yeah, I seen that, and that's a good move. Because Robbie Anderson is. I mean, I would try and get him in Fantasy Masters, but Grant wants your first morn and a sacrifice on top of it.
Well, his
So
draft stock just rose huge with the return of Sam.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there's
Well,
fantasy.
I was trying to get him before Darnold or before last week's game, and
Right.
it just wasn't happening.
Also, the Jets will be getting Mosley back, which will make their defense that much better.
Yeah,
That's big for them. I'm telling you, watch Monday. Curtis right here. Curtis down here in the comments said the Jets are going to win on Monday night. Curtis, I just said, I don't know if you were in here when I said it, but I said I'm picking New England, but I'm putting New England on upset watch. Because the Jets usually give the Patriots trouble anyways every season. They play tight games. And if they're as good as I think that they were going to be at the beginning of the season, when I picked them to win the AFC East, I didn't think that all this shit was going to happen to the Jets. They have a good shot. So, they're definitely by far going to be their toughest test of the season. I think maybe at minus Buffalo. So,
right.
And the NFC, I don't have a team with a losing record that's going to do anything. The teams with losing records in the NFC are going to still have losing records at the end of the year. Got nobody. So, and that's just an honest opinion from me. So, I don't feel like any of them can do anything. The Giants will eventually be good. I don't think this year is going to happen yet. Daniel Jones is going to need a year or maybe two. But they're building, and I never thought they were building. Because come draft day, I thought they were treading in the opposite direction. Turns out I was wrong.
So did a lot of Giants fans.
Yeah. So I don't think this year they're going to do anything, but keep an eye on that Giants team because they're going to be a force at some point. We went over this a couple weeks ago, but it's been a couple weeks now, so we can revisit it again. If Gardner Minshew continues to play at a solid level, what should Jacksonville do with Nick Foles?
Well, it kind of depends on what's happening with them as a team. I mean, are they going to have a chance to win division? Are they going to, that's what I mean. That's really hard to say, man, because you don't know what Foles is with that team.
True, he only threw like 6 passes or 7 passes?
Yeah. I mean, in the first preseason game, and he was hurt. So,
regular season. That was regular season.
Yeah. So you almost, did I say preseason?
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you get old.
Yeah.
No, but I think at this point, I mean, he's played this long. You got to stick with Minshew now. Granted, you paid Foles all this money and everything, but I mean, there's open competition next year.
Make the best move for your franchise because Seattle, sometimes eating that big money is a good decision.
Yep.
Russell Wilson.
Yep.
Best decision ever made.
Yeah, because they paid Matt Flynn all that money, and he was garbage anyway. He just had a good game against a poor Detroit Lions team.
No, the Lions team was 10-6 that year. The defense was terrible.
That's what I said. Well, that's what I meant by poor.
Matthew Stafford threw 41 touchdowns that year, so that's the reason why they made the playoffs because their defense was atrocious. So
right.
Yeah, I agree with Neil. You got to stick with Minshew. Unless between now and week 11, Minshew just hits just shits the bed and starts playing like trash. If he continues to play, minus last week because the Saints have been pretty good against everybody. So I'm just going to leave that up to a great defensive effort by the Saints. But if he continues to play the way that he's played outside of that week, every other week, you can't bench him. You can't.
Right.
Okay, first of all, your fans are gonna hate you because they love that guy. So,
yep. and what are they gonna do with all the mustache paraphernalia?
Yeah, right. What are you gonna start handing out? Foles ain't got nothing. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, well, he does, but we can't really mention it. Yeah.
Start handing dildos out to everybody, like long ones.
It'd be like Dylan put a dildo on his forehead.
Oh God. I'm never gonna let. He tried to catch one in his mouth. I'll never let him live that down.
I saw the video.
My God,
The video got showed at draft day.
man,
It's like, what were you thinking, dude?
you knew that was gonna go public.
Oh yeah, that was pretty hilarious. Everybody got a good laugh out of that.
Yeah, it was. Boy, that really solidified it. Dildo is his nickname for sure. People used to
Right.
call him that. Now for sure, it sticks.
Right.
All right, next question. How hot is Freddie Kitchens' seat getting, and are the Browns nearing an implosion?
No, I mean, if they, like I said, if they pull this move off and nothing changes, then his seat gets hot. He gets really hot. Because obviously an implosion will then happen. I mean, right now, it's just, I can't stress enough how important the offensive line is to a team, not just an offense, but to the whole team.
Right.
You know, an offensive line, you need an offensive line to control the defense to an extent where you can extend drives and keep your defense on the sideline getting rest. That defense just gets so tired during games because they're out there continuously out there.
Right.
And, you know, the play calling is just freaking stupid. It's really infuriating. You're inside the 5. You got probably the 1B running back in the league right now in Chubb. I said the 1B, 1A, 1B. He's the 1B. And you pass it 4 times. It's like, I wanted to walk through the TV screen and punch him right in his freaking mouth for being stupid.
Curtis, Felipe hasn't joined us yet, but this podcast is definitely dedicated to Felipe. Dolphin fan here. Go ahead, Neil.
I hope Felipe crashes his car trying to post one of them videos so I don't have to see his ugly ass anymore. That dude.
Come on.
Oh,
You don't
man.
you don't want to party with a Dolphin fan?
I don't want to party with a tool like that.
Oh, total. Okay. Thanks, Curtis. Now we're way off track now.
Yeah, thanks, Curtis.
Anyway, I don't believe the Browns are even close to on the verge of an implosion. I think the players are handling it pretty well, and I think they know it's going to take some time to gel. But I do think Freddie Kitchens' seat's getting a little warm because he himself has single-handedly cost the Browns some games this year.
Yeah.
So the Rams game might have been one of the worst coaching jobs I've ever seen in my life.
I agree.
Not only are you inside the 5, like you said, never run the ball once, okay? Right? Like, nor did you attempt to pass where Odell Beckham was the primary receiver, which just blows my mind.
Right.
But you had a 4th and 9, and you called a draw play. And that was outrageous.
Yeah.
Like, if I would,
Yep.
I know Baker's only in his 2nd year, but if he would have been like, yeah, halfback draw, you know, I know they have a play call for it, but he knows it's a halfback draw, right? So I'd have been like, okay, this is what we're running because we're not running that.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say I would have been audibling all day and then took whatever fire came to me afterwards.
So, yeah, if it didn't work, I'd have took my licking, but I'd have looked at him and said, yeah, your play wasn't going to work either.
Right.
You ran a draw play. You want me to run right at Aaron Donald and hope to get 9 yards.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I said, I would have, if I'd have been Baker when I audibled to a different play and it didn't work. I would have said, you tried to call a draw play and do you see who's on the defensive line?
Right.
Yeah. He can't be blocked.
Right. And if he does, it takes 3 of our linemen, which only leaves 2 left and 3 more defensive linemen. So,
right.
There's an
and all the linebackers running free.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it infuriates me. I think he's better served just going back to coordinator duties.
Yep. They should have kept Greg Williams, man. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Greg Williams. That team played for that man.
I hate that guy because he
I do too, but
he tried to purposely hurt Brett Favre and Adrian Peterson, and I will forever want to rip his throat out of his. Dude, I can't stand him. But he was the best coach for the job at the time. So, unbiasedly, they should have kept him.
Right.
All right, let's move on to the picks now, so we can get out of here and get ready for the game.
Right.
So I'll start. I'll start with the first pick. Kansas City at Denver. One team's hot, the other's not. But I think that changes tonight. Denver has gone 15 straight games where they haven't scored more than 24 points, and that's a problem when you face a team like this. I know Kansas City's defense is garbage. I know Mahomes is banged up, but Mahomes banged up still lights out, and they're still going to put up more than 24 points. So I got to take the Chiefs in this game. I don't see Denver having enough offense. Even against a bad Chiefs defense, there's a reason they haven't scored 24 points in almost a full season. So I got the Chiefs in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs also. And, Tyreek being back helps. And another week being back is going to help even more. Or I should say an extra 4 days. Because he takes the lid off of defense. And granted, Mahomes can't move like he normally does because his banged up his ankle. But Tyreek, did you see that play on his first touchdown?
That was an offside penalty.
Was he standing on something?
Nope.
I was going to, because it looked like he was in the air long enough to be standing on something. I don't know how he elevated like that and then stayed there. That was crazy. But, yeah, I mean, we're not big on Tyreek as a person, but as a football player, he is very good at hashtag football. So, yeah, I got Kansas City on this all day. Denver is just not going to be able to run with them.
Okay.
Next one we got is the Rams at Atlanta. Atlanta is straight trash. They probably, if they keep at the rate they're going to end up being the worst team in the NFC South. The Rams didn't look very good themselves, but I'm hearing that Gurley is a very good possibility to play this week, and Malcolm Brown will be not playing possibly.
And Ramsey's playing.
I'm sorry?
And Ramsey's going to play.
Yeah, and Ramsey's going to play. So, I mean, that takes. Does Ramsey follow across the field, or does he play one side?
Shadows.
Predominantly. Okay, so that's going to take Julio away. So yeah, I just Atlanta don't stand a chance in this game.
Yeah, I agree. I got the Rams too. Ramsey's back injury is 100% now, and Gurley it's looking like Gurley's going to play. The Rams offense is going to want to put up a lot of points this week because they had 78 passing yards last week, and to the Rams that is really embarrassing. So, I mean, that's embarrassing for anybody, but especially a McVay type coach, that is really embarrassing for him. So it's going to be foot on the gas the entire game this week. This week, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams put up 40 points. So I like the Rams based on that. And there's a lot of people who talk about how it's not Matt Ryan's fault that the Falcons are struggling because of his numbers, but Matt Ryan doesn't think that he can do anything until they're down 21-3. So it is kind of Matt Ryan's fault a little bit too. So, blame's got to go everywhere.
Right.
Miami, Buffalo. Should we even pick Miami games anymore? Buffalo's.
Well, we have to. We have to because they're on the docket, and that would make things uneven.
Yeah, Buffalo's gonna win this. The game will be low scoring because Buffalo's not a team that scores a lot, but I mean they're going to control the entire game. Their defense is not. I wouldn't be shocked if it's a shutout. So I see like a 20-0, 17-0, 20-0 game here. So that's what I got on this. Buffalo, just Miami's trying to lose games, so Buffalo.
Yeah, I got Buffalo too. Buffalo's they're just gonna pound the rock. Gore Singletary's gonna play this week, and Josh Allen. They're just gonna run down the field. There won't be too much passing going on as far as Buffalo's concerned. Rosen's not playing. I should say Rosen's not starting. After Fitzpatrick throws 3 picks, then they'll probably bring Rosen back in and do this little quarterback roulette thing they got going on.
Week.
Yeah, exactly. That's about what they've been doing too. But yeah, so Dolphin fan can go away.
No, he'll still be here. Oh, hey,
yeah.
We told your dildo story on the air earlier for the entire world to hear. Just letting you know.
All right, Jacksonville at Cincy. I got Jacksonville all day long on this one too. They're just going to pound the rock, and Cincy can't do anything on offense. I mean, as long as they got Dalton there, that offense is garbage. The defense is one of the worst in the NFL right now. So I think Fournette's going to have a monster day, to be honest with you, and you might see some Reichwell Armstead get into this game too. So I got Jacksonville.
Yeah, I got Jacksonville too. Minshew Mania is going to tear up that defense. I think Fournette's going to have a big game. I think Minshew's going to have a big game, and I think this game might be over by halftime. Play Chark in all your fantasy leagues, everybody. Play any Jacksonville guy that you got of the big 3. Like Cincinnati's awful. Their defense is bad. Like their offense is struggling, and their offense isn't very good. But their defense makes their offense look like all-stars. That's how bad they are. I don't see Cincinnati winning any games unless they play Miami either. So that's what I got here. Minnesota and Detroit. I did not want to be the first one to pick this game. I was hoping you would land on this game first because this, despite my clothing, was a very hard game for me to pick. I do not want to see Detroit this week. This was the worst week for us to get Detroit. They are mad. They are mad. I do not want to go into Detroit this weekend. That is bad. Bad news. Crap being written all over this for the Vikings. And Laquan Treadwell, dumbass, had to go ahead and open his mouth after the last week. Easy win. Like, oh, motherfucker. You were just out of a job a week ago. Stop running your fucking mouth.
You know what they do with that? They stick that on the locker room wall.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember when one of the Vikings said that this was an easy win?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Minnesota because I have to. Fuck. I don't even want to watch this game. I'm scared. This will be a fun game to watch, though, in competitive purposes. I think it'll be a very close game. I'm hoping Minnesota wins it at the end. I want the Vikings to get the ball with like a minute 30 to go. That's my best case scenario here. So I'm taking Minnesota.
Well, this also for me was the hardest game to pick because I went with Detroit last week and they went and, well, I can't say they, but I got burnt for it, regardless of whose fault it was.
Right. You did get burnt?
That I got burnt, yeah. And then I was leaning Minnesota, and then, like you said, Treadwell went and opened his pie hole and kind of stirred up. That's not stirring the hornet. That's the hornet nest that had already been stirred, and Treadwell went up and just drop kicked it. So now he's got all these hornets that are just freaking pissed.
And he's not even going to see the fucking field in this game, and he's got to open his mouth.
And his teammates were just slapping him upside the head, telling him to shut the hell up. What are you going to do about it? We're the ones that got to deal with it now.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Personally, if I'd have been his coach, I'd have cut him for that.
Again, right. Back to the unemployment line.
But man, this is just such a tough game to pick. It's in Detroit. They're pissed, but
their fans are pissed.
Is there going to be backlash from the officials?
Or is it more favorable from the officials, though, too?
Right.
I watched the show the other day or yesterday, and they were like, the NFL owes the Lions a win, so expect a lot of calls for Detroit in this game. And I'm all like, oh, great.
So, I mean, Detroit's having some serious. I have a feeling that they're going to be spending a lot of time on their red zone offense this week because, the stat was their red zone offense was like 31% efficiency in the red zone. That's horrible, man. Well, you can't be a good team. You can't be a successful team and have your offense at 31% in the red zone. You can't do that.
I agree.
It's unsustainable. But all that being said, I'm going to Detroit. It's really a coin flip for me.
I can respect that. Go ahead. You got a nice game.
So we got Oakland at Green Bay. Man, Oakland played Chicago really tough last week, and
do not take this game too lightly, Green Bay.
They kind of opened my eyes up a little bit, and Green Bay's got some serious issues with their health right now.
I'm gonna win.
I'm gonna take Oakland in this one. Just on a hunch. Just on a hunch. I just think that Green Bay's got too much going on right now as far as the injury front. Devontae Adams isn't playing. MVS might not play. And if he does, he hasn't been effective all year anyway.
Allison's going to play.
Allison's not playing. Aaron Jones is in the doghouse for fumbling the ball when he shouldn't be fumbling the ball. So
and drop a wide open pass. Come on.
Yeah. So give me Oakland. I'm going to pick this as an upset.
I took Green Bay. If I were them, I would watch this game, okay? Because Gruden has got that team playing above their talent level. Okay, because that team, talent-wise, is not as good as they've played. So he's really doing some good coaching. It's really sweet to watch, to be honest with you.
Yep.
And this team's only going to get better, for the years to come. So the fact that they're playing this well already with the little talent that they have, just that's got to scare some people.
Yeah.
I did take Green Bay. I just think Aaron Rodgers is a much better quarterback than Derek Carr, and I think that's what it's going to come down to because Rodgers doesn't necessarily need to have the weapons. Close game though. Next game, Houston, Indy. Houston's going to win. They found their groove. They're on. They've on offense. They struggled at the beginning of the year a little bit offensively. Outside of game one, like the 2 games after that, they were, But they Watson's got it now. Now the league's got to watch out. Houston's going to win this game. It's indoors. That plays into the passing game factor, and Watson's going to throw all over the place. I know Indy's a better team than what I thought they were going to be, but I just don't see them breaking Houston's role that they're on right now. So I got Houston.
I also got Houston because for a lot of the same reasons. They made me a believer going into Arrowhead, which is not the easiest place to play. And went into Arrowhead and took one from Kansas City. They didn't steal it. They just flat out took it. And they just came in and punched them in the mouth, said, hey, we're going to take this, so have a good day. Indy is a very good young team, up-and-coming team, but they're still a year or two away, in my opinion. They got to get some of these young guys, got to get some experience under them. But Watson is probably, without using Hopkins, is probably playing the best ball of his career at this point,
Yeah,
as far as intelligence.
Quiet all year.
Yeah, and so, yeah, give me Houston on this one. Our next game is Arizona flying all the way to the East Coast, playing the Giants. I'm going to take the Giants on this one. Barkley's back, Ingram's back, Shepard's back, Tate's going to play. The defense has gotten better. Arizona's got to travel 2,000 plus miles. It's just too much. Arizona's got no defense, so I think Barkley's going to have a heyday. Daniel Jones won't really be needed too much. Because Barkley's just going to.
Don't say that. I played him on my fantasy football leagues.
Well, I mean, it's Barkley's first game back, and I think he's ready to go. I think he's rare, and he's ready. He's chomping at the bit to go out there and eat some yardage up. So, give me the Giants on this one.
All right, I got the Cardinals. I took the Cardinals in this game. I know everybody's coming back. They're going to be easy with Saquon. There's no way that ankle's 100%. High ankle sprains linger. There's no way it's 100%. They're going to take it easy with Barkley. Kyler Murray's playing lights out football right now. The Giants defense, I know they played a pretty decent game against New England last week, but they're nothing special. Okay, so they're not going to slow down Kyler this week. David Johnson's starting to play better. He's 10th, I think, in the league in total yardage, so he's top 10. Kyler's finding a way to use his no-name receivers out there. So that says a lot about him as a rookie. He can make plays with his feet. He's making good decisions with the football. I don't see that changing this week at Arizona. The next game, San Francisco and Washington, this will be a rout. It's another game I could see be a shutout. Outside of Adrian Peterson's 190 yards he's going to have on the ground, I see San Francisco running away with this. The defense is too good against the pass because they can't stop AP, but against the pass, they're really good. And Keenum, I
can't even look at you right now.
Keenum's going to throw a lot of interceptions in this game, Neil. Okay? So, San Francisco, this game will be over at halftime. Maybe before halftime. San Francisco.
Well, for that reason, there's no way AP is getting the yardage you said because he's going to be game scripted out.
No.
Washington's going to get into the situation where they have to pass the ball. That's not AP's game.
2 80-yard runs already, right off the get-go. That's what it's going to be.
It's not going to happen. Nick Bosa will run him down. Give me San Francisco. It's not even worth talking about. It's like the Miami game.
Okay, next up, 2 underperformers.
Yeah. Chargers and Titans.
Tannehill.
Well, what do you make of that? I mean, well, the Chargers giving Melvin Gordon 8 touches.
Maybe they're punishing him?
Did that to detriment of the team?
I mean, you said that they were doing that to Zeke, and that was the detrimental. Or doing that to Zeke, and that was detrimental to the team.
They won.
Hang on, doorbell. Go ahead, talk about the game.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, Melvin Gordon 8. It was either 8 carries or 8 touches. Either way, that's not enough. You cannot get into a groove as a running back with 8 carries. You just can't do it. The Chargers also are a little beat up right now. Tennessee's replaced Mariota finally. I think he's done. So you're going to see Tannehill at quarterback for Tennessee. I think you can expect Derrick Henry. Chargers are not a good run defense, so I think Derrick Henry's going to have a decent game. You can never know with that guy. I mean, he can run, 19 times for 37 yards, or he can run 11 times for 246 yards. So you never know what you're going to get with Henry, but I think he's going to be okay. So give me Tennessee in this one.
I got the Chargers. I think that Tennessee's having some quarterback issues, and they switched last week, and Tannehill looked just as bad as Mariota did. He started out really good on his first drive, and after that, downhill he went. I just don't think they have the quarterback play to do it. Hunter Henry had a good game last week, and if he can get Keenan Allen involved and keep Hunter Henry involved, I think they can score. I mean, if you score 13, 17 points, you score enough to beat the Titans. So I just don't see them being able to score. Rivers should be able to put a couple touchdowns on the board. I mean, but then again, the Chargers, it's one of those teams, anytime I pick them to win, they lose. So, just who the hell knows these teams? I have no idea what to make of this game. I could be completely wrong. So, I got the Chargers and the confusing game of the week. New Orleans and Chicago. My upset of the week. New Orleans beat Chicago at Soldier Field.
You're hoping.
Well, I'm hoping so because I have it on my parlay and it could win me $1,340. The only pick that I picked this week that's not like what Vegas would consider a lock. So I'm really hoping this is the game I need. Defense is going to be a defensive battle, so it's what it's going to come down to is which quarterback can make the play when needed, and Trubisky can't do that. So I see New Orleans taking this one just because I feel like Bridgewater is a way better quarterback than Trubisky is, and it could come down to the first team to score a touchdown because this game's going to be very low scoring.
Well, this is a game that I wish I had a little more information on. This is that, having to make the pick on a Thursday game when you don't really know the status of certain players. Alvin Kamara having a high ankle issue. We don't know what his status is, and, that changes a lot of things for me. Latavius Murray is an okay running back. I mean, but he's not an Alvin Kamara. He's not Alvin Kamara.
No.
And Alvin Kamara just changes the whole scenery. Bridgewater is the better quarterback, but I heard an interesting stat today. The guy that's playing the slot corner for New Orleans, and I forget his name now, I want to say it's Peterson, or maybe it was Robinson. Patrick Robinson.
Patrick Robinson.
You know what his PFF score is?
What?
33. How are you even in the league with a 33 PFF?
Or it could go up now that he's playing Trubisky.
Yeah, well, Trubisky is best using this slot receiver, which would be Anthony Miller. I think Anthony Miller is going to have a huge game if that's the case, unless they make some kind of alterations in game. I lost you, man.
No, I got you. I'm coming back.
Okay. So, it's in Chicago. It's going to be not ideal conditions. It's going to be pretty blustery that Sunday, or this Sunday. So, just give me Chicago on this one.
I did not expect you to take Chicago. I really didn't.
I wasn't going to until I heard that about Patrick Robinson. And that just changed a lot for me because Trubisky is traditionally really good passing to the slot receiver. That's his sweet spot.
Want to know what else he's really good at? not going to the open guy.
Well, if the PFF is any indicator, Anthony Miller is going to be plenty open a lot.
All right, which means he'll throw it to Allen Robinson instead. So,
next game, Baltimore going all the way up to the Northwest and playing red-hot Seattle Seahawks. Baltimore has been such a Jekyll and Hyde team this year. They look spectacular, and they go against someone who, on paper, they should beat, and they don't. So, I mean, I don't know what to make of this team. Marquise Brown's not going to play. So,
Oh, he's been
And
ruled
Russell
out?
Wilson, yeah, I got him on my team, so I had to put him on my bench. I had to actually go in waivers and grab a receiver, uh, dump Chase Edmonds, but which I didn't really want to do. But going all the way to Seattle, that's a long flight, and Russell Wilson is hot right now. Seattle can run against anybody. Their defense is underrated, so I'm going to take the Seahawks.
Okay. I got Seattle too. I just think Baltimore only beats teams that are not very good. And that's all they've done. Anytime they play a team, and even then they struggle. They struggled against Arizona. They struggled against Pittsburgh, and they didn't really beat the crap out of Cincinnati last week. So they're even sketchy against teams that are not. The only team they really beat the crap out of was Miami. Everybody does that except Washington.
Yeah.
So I think Russell Wilson. First of all, this defense is not what it was supposed to be. Russell Wilson is gonna have a heyday against this defense, and that's what it's gonna come down to. Seattle's got a good defense, and Baltimore doesn't, because both these quarterbacks will find ways to make plays. Even though Russ is clearly the way better quarterback. But it's going to come down to which defense can make stops. And Seattle's defense can make stops, and Baltimore's defense has shown against good teams they give up points. And that's not good. And Russell Wilson, like I said before, Drew Brees is hurt right now. So he is the best quarterback in the NFC. And that's not good for the outcome. And it's in Seattle, one of the hardest places to go and win. The next game, Philly and Dallas. This is for the NFC East lead. I got Philly in this game. Dallas has not looked good at all. And I know Philly just got the crap beat out of them, but they got the crap beat out of them by a good team, not a winless team. And, the Cowboys haven't been competitive the last 2 weeks at all. They brought those scores to respectable, they look respectable if you look at just the score, but if you watch the games, that was garbage time scoring in these games. And these games were over. So they've been blown out twice. And I think Dak's going to put up good paper numbers because Philly's secondary is trash. But I've always said if you can stop Zeke, you can beat the Cowboys and you can beat Dak because the Phillies' run defense is really good. Zeke's not going to run anywhere, and that's where it's going to come down to. Dallas is going to struggle. So I got Philly. And Dallas at home is not really a home field advantage since Jerry World's open. It's not like they have a great winning percentage there. So taking the Eagles.
I'm also going to take Philly. Dallas in all phases of the game, his last couple of weeks has looked, I guess, listless would be the best word I could think of. There's no fire, no passion. Like almost like they don't care. Like you said, Philly is an outstanding run D. And they bottled up Dalvin Cook pretty well last week. And Dalvin Cook's no slouch. He's a really good running back. So I don't see Zeke doing much as far as the running game goes. They're probably going to have to extend it by, hitting him with a few swing passes, maybe some screens and like that, to slow the front seven of the Philly defense down. I got an alert, said Amari Cooper said he's going to play, but
he's not healthy.
He's not healthy. Michael Gallup's not healthy. His knee's still bothering him. He had a meniscus issue going on. Dallas is just, their ship is taking on water and they can't bail it out fast enough right now. So, give me Philly.
Okay.
And the last one will be the Monday night game, which is New England at the Jets. The Jets showed a lot to me last week. That was probably the biggest turnaround I've seen from a team from one game to the next.
They look so good, dude.
Long time. Robbie Anderson is a beast. Le'Veon he's good. He's not Le'Veon of Pittsburgh, but he's still good. I mean, Sam Darnold
makes him better.
He's a very good quarterback. There's just no way two ways about it. And I was kind of on the fence about that when they drafted him because he was turnover prone at USC.
And he couldn't win big games at USC.
Right. And but he seems to have corrected a lot of the issues that he had coming into the league. Mosley is going to be back from everything I'm hearing, so that's going to make the defense. I think that's going to fire the defense up, to be honest with you. They're another very difficult team to run against. So this is going to be my upset of the week. I'm taking the Jets.
Wow.
It's at home. It's in New York. I know it's not far or very far to travel, but
those fans are always crazy there, though.
New England has not played anybody this year, and they've looked kind of sketchy at times during some games.
Closer than the score looks.
Exactly, and there's a chink there in that armor, and it's going to get it. The Jets have the talent to expose it.
Right. I'm going to go with New England, but I think that like I said, I've said like two or three times already on this podcast that New England's on upset alert. Okay, they need to watch themselves and do not take the Jets lightly. I hope they're not. Crazy thing, like, okay, so there was an interview with Dallas running back Zeke, right, last week?
Yep.
About the Jets, right? And they're like, so how do you guys feel about losing to an 0-4 team? And he goes, well, I didn't even know they were 0-4 until you tell me. You know what that tells me? And Colin Cowherd brought this up perfectly. That you're not watching enough damn tape, okay?
Yeah.
Like that is not something a reporter should have to tell you. Like, I know you're not supposed to, like, regard the records as, like, being, like, you know, as a player, you're not supposed to take teams for granted just because of the record, but you should know what the record is. Okay?
Don't use the record as a barometer of what the team is.
New England better be watching tape, and I don't think Bill Belichick will be the coach to allow them to not do that. I think he's always well prepared for every team, but I'm just saying this is not a time to slip up on that, or you're going to get upset this week. The Jets are much better than a 1-4 team. I feel so bad for what happened to them at the beginning of the year. They're going to show out in this game, and I feel like this is going to be a close, last-second, maybe overtime game. And I have New England by 3 in this game. So, watch out. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Me and Neil will post our picks on Facebook. I gained a pick on Neil yesterday. I'm now in the lead. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me, Neil.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. See you later.